Welcome back to Podzilla, everyone. I'm Jasha.
I'm Micah.
And this is a reunion episode, the reunion episode. Our first ever guests we ever had on Podzilla. Last time they were on the show was like 2 years back now. But we have returning Alex Knox and Adam Baston of what once was called the Final Draft Podcast. Rest in peace. Thank you so much, guys, for coming back on the show.
We couldn't be happier to be back, man. We're back.
They're back. Not to talk about Mechagodzilla. We've given you guys a break. Not to watch 2 movies back to back and record multiple episodes back to back. This is going to be a breeze. We're talking one movie. We're talking The Abyss today, which was your guys' pick. Had you ever seen The Abyss before, Alex, when you put this forward to watch?
No, I'd never seen The Abyss before. You guys so graciously came down from your mountain and asked us if we could be on the show, and, like humble peasants, we obliged. And
goes a long way.
The theme was water.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay,
yeah.
What are some movies about water? A few came to mind. Water, I suppose, has a somewhat cinematic quality that we're dive into, pardon the pun. But I thought the Abyss has been on my watch list for ever since I've heard about it, heard about the making of it. And I thought it'd just be a fun one for us to dive into, and trying to be on theme with something somewhat monster / kaiju related. I thought it might be fitting.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's in that realm. It's definitely something to talk about, at least.
It fits our theme Beneath the Waves perfectly. And all 4 of us just worship at the altar of James Cameron. I know we're the biggest James Cameron fans in the world. I myself have seen all his movies, love every single one. Micah,
I've seen every single
you
one.
You love the Terminators?
Yeah.
Yeah, big Terminator.
Guys,
head.
I have not seen a single Terminator movie.
That surprises me. You've got like the Terminator leather jacket on, you know.
He's cosplaying for this episode.
I'm bringing big Arnold vibes to the pod right now.
I painted myself blue.
Yeah, Alex is currently painted blue.
I am. There's no way for the listeners to know that.
Adam's hand is blue.
Yeah, Adam's hand is blue or black, like he's just stuck it down a toilet and pulled it back out.
Yeah, man.
That's great, Adam.
Yeah, it's great.
Adam, had you seen this movie before?
No. No. I think that, I've seen photos of it, and I tricked myself into believing that I'd seen it on like VHS or whatever. But I think that's just because of how difficult this movie was to find. Alex and I agreed to do this and then realized there was no way of us actually getting it without a VPN. And I looked this up. I was like, I looked in, we have shops in the UK called CEX, which is just where DVDs go to die basically and rot away before they're thrown in the bin because no one buys them. Because I looked it up and it was £1 to buy this DVD for The Abyss, which I was quite sad about. But
sad.
The only way that I could get it locally was if I went and rented it from one of the only VHS rental stores left in the entire country that just so
You still got some?
just so happens to be in Bristol.
No way.
On Christmas Steps. Shout out to them. I'll find their name and I'll shout out at the end.
We'll put them in the show notes.
Yeah, they're fantastic, and it's run by some very cool people. But they have a little cinema in there as well that you can rent out. Yeah, they're really cool. But that was the only place that had it. So. Yeah, difficult to find. And I just tricked myself into thinking I'd watched it on VHS before. Like, I don't know, maybe my mum had it and all the other crazy VHSs that she owned, like all the series of the X-Files that just took up the entire cabinet.
Oh, Adam, on VHS?
Oh, dude.
I know the cases. I know the covers. Oh,
That was Jasha.
the dream. Yeah, well, I feel like this is the forgotten James Cameron movie almost, just because it is not available anywhere and it's only recently been remastered. Like, I watched it for the first time, I think, 4 years ago now, and I had to do the same thing, track down a DVD and watch it via that. Whereas now that James Cameron's living in New Zealand, it seems like he's made it available for us to just rent. It's everywhere.
Thank you, James.
Thank you, James.
Country.
New Zealand citizen. So we really appreciate it.
Another win for New Zealand.
Yeah.
Yet another one.
But he's really stitched you guys up. So this will be nice before Avatar Fire and Ash coming out in a couple weeks. Revisiting a James Cameron movie that not many people might have seen before. We'll get into it maybe at the end of the show, James Cameron in general. Would you guys call yourselves James Cameron fans? All joking aside. Alex, I'm looking at you because I have been following you on Letterboxd for 5-6 years at this point, and I've seen the Avatar ratings.
What do you mean? He's the biggest fan?
Yeah, I want to believe that.
I feel like Avatar is a sort of its own separate thing, really. Avatar's like its own entity, and I think we've spoken in the past about like thoughts and feelings about Avatar.
We probably have.
James Cameron in general.
Wait, we actually have. On this show,
Yeah, genuinely.
we've talked about Avatar. I've just completely forgotten. This is actually like full circle for us. This is fitting.
Took us long enough.
I've got his receipts here. 2.5 stars. Rough. Coming off of Jasha's top 4 at the moment, which you've got Way of the Water.
Avatar Way of
as
Water is
your
one of my
top
4 favorite movies. So yeah, go on, Alex. I'm excited to hear.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm like a James Cameron fan, not in the sense that like I don't enjoy his films. I know the big hitters. I like, you know, Aliens and T2, and you know, I know the big hits. I think it's been, what was exciting about this film was seeing something that yeah, you are right, Joshua, that this is like kind of the kind of forgotten one. It's kind of the more kind of cult classic film in his catalogue, and it was interesting to see. It's interesting to see how he is very tropey, and he has his, you know, things that he likes. He's very like,
For sure.
enjoys his, you know, wet toy box, but to also sort of see him do something that isn't as, this film, like the Abyss is big kind of spectacle filmmaking, but it is also, but not in the way that Avatar: The Way of Water, you know, in 40x IMAX is. So yeah, it was an interesting kind of experience. It was interesting to see a side of Cameron that was familiar, but I hadn't necessarily seen before.
Yeah, he's definitely got his favorite things, which is like, let's do some filming in water.
Yeah.
Let's put in some sort of robots or mechs. Let's add some little guys. Let's do like heaps of practical stuff while innovating in the CG space. And it's every single one of his movies touch on each of those every time.
He's nothing if not consistent, really.
No.
Yeah.
But you just see across the years how like every movie he releases is just a step up in scale.
Yeah. He
from
tends
the
to
last.
hone in on all of those different mediums.
I love how he just kind of obsesses over like that one genre for a certain period of time. Like, you know, when did Titanic come out? Was it a similar kind of time?
No, I think that must have been early 2000s, right?
Really?
I think.
Yeah, it just like he's.
Low 7.
Oh wow, okay. Well, I just feel like this is I don't know, like it's his water period. He's just obsessed with water. But I like the idea that
I don't think the water period ever ended.
No, I don't. I think it's still present. I think. Oh yeah, what was his last film? The Way of Water. Let it go, James. Let it go, man. You've done it.
The new Billie Eilish documentary, she's going to be like soaked, just drenched with water. There'll be something.
I don't know, man. Yeah, I just feel like he obsesses over one thing, and I think that's wonderful. I like the idea that if he was some sort of student filmmaker, people would like refer to him as like, oh, he's like the water guy, or oh, he's the blue person guy,
Water boy.
Yeah, you know what I mean. He just he feels like an obsessive filmmaker in that regard. Like he just kind of picks a lane and goes with it, and I respect that because obviously a lot of innovation has to come with this stuff, right? I think he found a place where other people wouldn't really go, and he just kind of goes, "Why not? Why can't we shoot it on a big miniature? Or why can't we make a whole sound stage full of water?" You know, this kind of stuff had to be born from somewhere, and I respect that he did it. Anyway, I'll stop blabbering now.
No,
Let's talk more about the actual film rather than water.
I'm glad you guys could actually track it down and watch it. This is going to be a fun conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can use the chapters in your podcast app to skip ahead to listen to it. But before that, I just wanted to like catch up. It's been again 2 years, boys. What have you been up to? What have you been doing?
Oh, you know, surviving.
It's good. That's good to hear. Adam, I in particular wanted to ask you about Helix, your new show.
Oh,
and
bless you, man.
A new podcast about theme parks, about roller coasters. But then almost separate or under the same brand, you've started doing these really cool old school vlogs with an old camcorder. And it's just like the best vibes in the world. So I wanted to ask you about that kind of.
Thank you. Oh, you're so kind.
That's pretty awesome.
I didn't expect the big curveball from talking about James Cameron water to now having to talk about myself.
Yeah, get James Cameron out of here.
Let's talk about some real filmmakers, you know.
When are you coming to visit Rainbow's End, our one theme park in New Zealand, Adam?
Oh, okay. So that's is that really the only place that you've got nearby?
Yes.
I don't think it's a stretch of,
Because we will bring Helix to New Zealand.
It's 3 hours away. I think it is New Zealand's
It
only
might be
theme
the
park,
only one we have.
themed about a rainbow.
Well, we were doing some research and we found out that there is actually a roller coaster. We didn't know this prior to it, but I think it's either in Poland or Germany. I can't remember, but they have a theme, a roller coaster called Helix.
Oh, there we
And
go.
I thought it'd be really funny if we got in contact with them and just be like, can we make a video about this roller coaster? Helix goes to see Helix. Because apparently a good one as well. It looks pretty good. But no, yeah, so it's me and a friend of mine, Lily. We are just the theme park people in each other's lives, and we obsess over all of that kind of stuff and type models of roller coasters and theme parks in general. Lily's incredibly good at she comes from an entertainment background, so she's amazing at like diving into like how theme parks are even like considered to be built, like how, you know, the kind of like all the design aspects and the clever things that they do in order to guide immersion, whereas I'm just a bit of a nerd when it comes to all the mechanics and the different models, and I think the ambition is to do something a lot more along the lines of like documentary filmmaking, where we make documentaries about theme parks and rides specifically, and interview like engineers and that kind of thing. But we've started off doing a very familiar format in this space, which is obviously like vlogging, but we've done it in a way that just feels right to how we are as creatives. Like you said, we film it on VHS cameras and things like that, but it's just because we really found out that we enjoyed that medium. It was whatever camera that we could get to tell the best story possible. And
Dude, it just looks so cool.
thank you.
It just looks so clean.
Well, you know, everyone carries around like an £1,000 phone in their pocket that is also an £1,000 camera. So you can make great stuff with your phone. You know, the tool shouldn't matter. And hopefully that's something that we're getting across, is that, you know, you can film it on anything so long as you have like a real passion for it and you want to make something that feels right to you.
That rolls.
But no, yeah, we've started off. We've got like a big presence on a bigger presence on TikTok at the minute, which has been lovely, because we honestly thought that was the one that wasn't going to work. And yeah, we just focused on YouTube and Instagram like the old people we are. And the weird thing called TikTok came along and was like, oh, like everyone uses this now. We've got to try and like make stuff for this. Okay.
We'll have to take some notes. That's something that we're scared of. We still haven't touched TikTok.
It's because it you know how like with YouTube, I think we kind of grew up in the era, all of us, where YouTube grew around us when we were growing up.
Yeah.
And it was our kind of like obsessive medium, and we understood how it worked. And obviously TikTok is arguably a whole newer generation that had that. And as soon as I feel like I'm grasping TikTok, the rug just gets pulled up from under my feet, and you know, something will blow up that I was like, oh, I'll just kind of put it out, don't worry about it. And that's the thing that will gain like, you know, 100,000 plus views, which is crazy. Yeah, it's even worse when you're trying to like build it for like brands and stuff, and like for companies like who don't understand it, and you kind of just like, well,
I can imagine.
you know, sometimes this just doesn't work. You know, it's really hard. But
We don't understand it either, but here's what you do.
yeah, just go with it, man. Spend all your money just on a risk.
It's wild. I work with quite a lot of children, and seeing the transitional period of obviously us growing up on things like Facebook even, and that going completely out of style now.
Yeah, man.
And I feel like Instagram's going the same path, where a lot of Gen Z especially just sees Instagram as how a lot of people see Facebook nowadays, where it's only really for those older,
Oh God.
you know, Gen X and millennials, those old folks. TikTok is doing some crazy stuff, and I am scared of it. I don't understand it.
I just want Vine to come back. I feel like I got that. You know?
I think it is.
It has, hasn't it?
Oh, is that true?
I think Vine is
think it
legitimately
looks
coming
good.
back.
I think the CEO made something else, and it's like reposting
cool.
old vines. Not good. It's not good.
I'm stoked to hear what you guys are doing with Helix, Adam. Keep an eye on you guys, that Helix show on socials. Has it gotten to the point where you can look at a roller coaster and tell how good it's going to be?
You see, I was always really envious of that. I think one thing I admire so much about the community is that people are, when I say deeply passionate, like people can tell you the kind of like metal that a certain like wheel's made out of to make it go faster, or what taking off a support will do to like the G-force and the feeling of the speed around the track. And then you've got like weather conditions, and you have different generations of models. Like I don't claim to be an expert, but I'm very passionate about it. And I think that there couldn't be a better community to kind of learn and, in this space. And we've been very grateful for people just being very, I don't know, like nice, I guess, about someone coming in and trying to do something different. I'm not sure if we are, but we're trying to do our own style of it, and we're just enjoying it. I think that's the most important bit, right, about all of it, is that
I think that's very evident. Yeah. You guys have a real passion for the things you're covering.
Thank you. Yeah, well, I'm glad that comes across.
Yeah, it definitely comes across. It's been so cool, even just all of us catching up, like off and on over the last little while. And always the thing that we kind of talk about is like movies or making content. So it's cool to see you doing it. I don't know if you've been following Podzilla, but somehow I've made a deal that I need to make a movie within the next year, or else I'm going to lose my hand.
Ooh, you better hurry up.
I don't know how it happened, but yeah. So
just pulling a coffee.
I'm taking some notes from everything I see on Helix, and I'm going to be
just stop posting on TikTok is what we found.
Okay, great.
Just start making movies on TikTok. Who did you describe how long it was meant to be?
No, yeah, we didn't. There's actually no.
There we go.
Yeah,
short form content, 40 seconds.
Great,
you're good to go.
What I'll do is I'll come over to New Zealand and I'll film an interview of us on a roller coaster, and we'll try and keep composed, because I don't know how you guys are. I've taken Alex to a theme park before, and he was a very brave boy.
Do you not gel with theme parks, Alex?
We went to Fort Park when we were like 13, 14.
Yeah,
that long ago.
And that was the first like theme park I'd ever been to, really. And I remember the first thing we did was like these like swing things. They were pretty tame, to be honest, but I remember like absolutely like just cacking it in the queue. And then that sort of like broke the seal. And I think everything else was fine, but there was one ride in particular we went on called the Slammer. I don't think it's there anymore, is it?
Rest in peace, man. Got dismantled last year.
The Slammer.
Insane ride. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a massive tower where you're sat in these kind of rows, with the seats on you, and it just spins around and you go upside down and your blood's rushing to your head. And I'm not great with heights just anyway. Like I'm not good with it. And I remember we were in the queue and I looked up and my hands were like pouring with sweat.
Oh no.
like actually like dripping on the floor, like levels of anxiety.
Like a James Cameron movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. It all comes back to water.
It all comes back to water. You're so true. So yeah, I'm not I like roller coasters at an arm's length. It's got to be the right kind of vibe.
Yeah.
There's some stuff I don't love. So.
Well, we're talking about potentially going like early next year, just us and our group of friends. So it might be a revisit. Although Slammer won't be there, there are some that have popped up, including tallest, fastest in the UK, Hyperia. So I'm excited to get you on that, because I don't know how you'll feel in the queue line.
Please.
I'll have to just drag you on.
Can there be a separate bit of content, Adam, that's just following Alex through there,
Yeah,
standing
please.
in the same place as his hands were dripping?
I'll put one of those, the guy who like films himself with the trains, where he has that kind of 360 camera on his head.
I was going to say, yeah. Pop one of those on Alex. Just set him loose for a couple hours.
That's the plan.
I feel like one of the real core memories of my childhood is from a very, very young age, messing around with the old roller coaster tycoon games.
Oh,
on
yeah.
PC.
Thrillville.
Thrillville's another one entirely. Adam, I would give anything to watch you guys mess around and make your own little theme park.
Well, we've done a little bit on Planet Coaster, but it really upsets me how like I used to play Minecraft as a kid and I knew I was good at it, and I just don't get that feeling with this game. Like, and I really want to be. Like, I can tell that if I was maybe like 13 and this game came out, I knew I'd be great at it.
Something would,
but
click.
but it frustrates me that I can't learn it quick enough, and I get like overstimmed.
All my patrons are vomiting, and I don't know why.
I don't know why. So Planet Coaster is great, but I would do anything to. I used to have the like the floppy disks and the discs of Tycoon back in the day, and they were great, man. They were really. I think really
Roller
good.
Coaster Tycoon 3 was the one that we just got obsessed with and would play every night.
There was one with a water mod.
Yeah, I remember.
I remember like a water park. Yeah, right, Splashdown, I think it was called.
Oh,
and that's what inspired the new Planet Coaster 2, because they added water parks and slides and all that stuff.
So cool.
So maybe worth a visit, guys. You know, if you have some free time, go and have a look.
Planet Coaster 2, and check out Helix, everyone. That link will be in the show notes.
Thank you,
Alex. What have you been doing? Yeah, I saw you saw Wicked 2 the other day without watching Wicked 1. That's huge.
That was a great idea.
that is huge. That was a big favourite for me. You know when, for anyone listening at home, when maybe your partner, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whoever, it sort of gets a new obsession for the month. It's been Wicked.
Oh,
it's been Wicked in this house. Yeah, I watched the second one. It was a film. It was one of the films of all time for sure.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
We watched the first one after, because she was like, we need to watch this. You need to see the first one. I was like, okay. Didn't actually mind Wicked one. I'll be real.
Yeah.
Okay. Not my thing. Okay, but for what it is, not some of the songs. Defying Gravity.
There we go. Yeah,
guys.
Defying Gravity, guys. Defying Gravity. Yeah, I'm famously on the record, I think, on the show as well for not loving Wicked. And I went and saw Wicked for Good, and I tried my best to enjoy it the other week. And literally, I was sitting next to this woman, bless her, who apologized to me before the movie started. She was like, I'm sorry for what's about to happen. And then throughout the whole film, just glees of delight, singing along, moaning whenever Fiero would pop up on screen. And I think that was the last straw of the straw man for me.
Just got up and left.
Yeah, it was rough.
We're very not tolerant of the of people making noise in cinemas. I know we've famously on our show spoken about how the Avengers and Marvel like going into that, and we want it like dead silent.
Yeah.
And if anyone starts clapping, we're cross.
If someone cheers over a line that you then can't hear,
I hate it.
Yeah.
I feel like I can't log on Letterboxd. I haven't
you can't.
sat there for the entire experience.
I'm just such a natural just energy vampire though, that I kind of get a bit of a kick when everyone else loves the film and I despise it.
Yeah,
it just does something for me. There's something quite powerful about being in a room full of teenage girls watching Wicked and just being like, this is no good.
You're gonna be such a great 70-year-old, Alex.
Yeah, no, I am ready.
I can't wait for you to rock up to the cinemas in your cheese cutter hat, sitting in the back row.
I'm ready for it.
Already grandpa vibes already, to be honest.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, it's good to have you guys back again.
Thank
it's just
you.
I do not understand how fast time goes, because it feels like we had you on the show just the other day, but in reality, it's been years. Real quickly before we get to the abyss, I just want to shout out our Odo Island patrons. You can visit patreon.com/Podzilla and get access to extended episodes, bonus stuff. You can put forward movies for our themes. So a big thank you to Connor, Frogurt, Nerkles, Michael, Rich, Jacob, Shaun, Ron, Matt, JBSpino, Emma, and JB Mason. Thank you guys for supporting the show. And in this episode specifically, I would love us to talk a bit more about James Cameron in the extended segment. So stick around or sign up if you want to get maybe our James Cameron tier list. Guys, let's get excited. Let's get it. James Cameron, guys.
Woohoo.
James Cameron tier list.
Yay.
Alex,
Silence.
Let's go.
This is the grandpa energy.
He's locked in.
He's already leeching it.
Yeah, it's the
Leeching
energy vampire.
You brought up Wicked.
Sorry, I've ruined the whole episode now. Yeah, that was. I'm sorry.
Can we restart?
That was a bad call. Maybe what will cheer us up is you taking us into the abyss, Alex.
With pleasure. Let me just get out my notes. For listeners at home, I'm doing a visual.
Whoa.
A visual bit.
Popped a dictionary on the table.
Extensive.
Right, so this is James Cameron water movie. So, yeah, here it is. Right, so Jake Sully lives with his newfound family formed on the. Wait a minute, no, that's that's the wrong one. Sorry, hang on.
Damn you, Alex Knox.
Sorry, I got it. It's fine. Sorry.
Okay, there we go.
Sorry. Okay, there we go. So
get yourself together, man. Pull yourself together.
I bring the music back in.
Okay, here it is. So a 17-year-old aristocrat falls in love with the kind but poor artist. Wait, no, that's not.
That's the wrong one.
No.
That's not it either.
Final draft, final error.
Oh, there it is.
Here we go.
There it is.
Final one. Here we go.
A civilian diving team is enlisted to search for a lost nuclear submarine and faces dangers while encountering an alien aquatic species.
It's ready for you to pull up Piranha 2 then.
Yeah.
No.
I can't believe that's actually it.
Nice.
Oh my goodness. The Abyss, 1989. I believe it came out between Aliens and Terminator 2?
Damn.
Maybe?
2 fantastic movies.
Crazy run that James Cameron had. But yeah, this is, again, it's kind of like the Forgotten movie. It's an Ed Harris vehicle. Ed Harris, seeing him this young?
Yes, from The Truman Show.
Yeah.
Is it the one who looked like Steve Jobs?
Yes.
Yeah. Had a little turtleneck and a beret.
Okay, I'll be quiet now.
Mike, I think that's the first time you've ever been able to point out a movie someone's from. I'm taking it back. Wow.
Is he from any other more well-known
Ed Harris. I feel like I've only seen him like older and fully bald, whereas he had a bit of hair here. He was
most recently decrepit in Love Lies Bleeding.
Oh, yes. What a look in Love Lies
Wasn't
Bleeding.
he, yeah? And he was rocking it as well.
He was.
What a film that was. Anyway.
But as like a young, handsome, romantic lead in The Abyss. So, man, Ed Harris. What was your guys' kind of first takes? What do you guys think as you put on The Abyss, as we were introduced to this ragtag team that was going to be sent into the depths?
So I'll jump in quickly. The only thing I'd known about this movie is the fact that it won the Oscar for Best Visual Effects the year it came out.
Wow.
Most notably for its use of CG water, when we have our alien species in this movie who uses and is able to control water, and we get some fairly cool sequences throughout where it's probably what most people would have seen, but you have these giant snake-like tendrils of water. The pseudopods that end up coming face to face with our main characters and morphing into these very, at the time, lifelike representations of them in a really great first contact sequence. I didn't know this movie wasn't more well known. I thought it was up there among the greats of good old Cameron, which it might still be, but it kind of shocks me hearing that it's not as talked about, at least in the current era of cinema.
Well, I feel like this is Avatar, there's like Terminator, there's Aliens, and then there's The Abyss.
So many great.
Yeah. Titanic, But yeah, I think the CG in this was pretty groundbreaking at the time. It was something they fully developed with Industrial Light and Magic, and then would go on to do the T2 walking through the like prison bars, the like morphing metal there. So it's a big movie for, I guess, special effects and what kicked off this digital era of VFX. What have you guys heard about it before? Alex, Adam?
Literally nothing.
Yeah.
I didn't know this movie existed. I asked around. No one knew what it was. And it was weird. It's literally an Academy Award winner. and it's just not. I literally didn't know it existed. Although I will admit, when the logo came on in the opening crawl, amazing music, by the way.
Yeah.
But the logo I was familiar with. Like, I've seen that typography before. I don't know if it reminded me a lot of The Thing, I suppose.
Yeah,
like that
very
kind
similar.
you know, like
blocky.
But yeah, no, I felt like I recognized the logo. But that was it. I mean, I don't know about you, Alex, but I literally I don't have a clue.
I feel like the logo is one of the more famous parts of this movie. Yeah.
I knew this was a film to start, so 1 point to me. Yeah, I knew this one is like kind of the more cult kind of classic Cameron film. Maybe not like it is beloved. Obviously, it is Oscar winner as well. So it did get no recognition. I don't know about how it did in box office terms or whatever like that. But what I did know about the film going into it is that the making of this thing was a nightmare.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I had heard about the production of this movie. James Cameron, if you had to kind of sum up his filmmaking goal, his sort of, if you could sum it up in one word, it would be ambitious, and he really pushed a lot of physical and technical limits with this film. The visual effects, of course, were insanely groundbreaking for the time. I think it's kind of one of the beautiful things about revisiting older movies is you go like, wow, that's an effects, but like for the time it's insane, and it's it's ILM, and it's paving the way for all these things to come as well. It's like I said, without this we don't have the T2 Liquid Terminator effects and stuff. But then there was also the practicality of filming in water and the struggles that came with that, and the mental toll that had on the cast and Cameron himself. I was sort of reading bits of trivia about the making of this movie, and Cameron, he drowned at one point, I think, when they were filming like an underwater sequence because someone forgot to tell him to change his oxygen tank. The cast were on the verge of a mental breakdown constantly. I'm pretty sure
there's some wild stories if you dive deep, pun intended.
There's a story about Ed Harris having to like pull over while driving back in his car because he just kept spontaneously crying. So that's sort of the reputation I knew about the film going into it.
He's probably sworn off talking about the movie after it now. Like, he does not talk about his time on the Abyss. He says it's akin to like talking about your days as a soldier in Vietnam. You just can't go back to it.
Christ.
It's crazy to see because it is like maybe 80% underwater. I mean, you've got stuff within their like, what is it called? They've got their little like base of operations, deep summon, deep pod, deep space Nine. So they've got their little base of operations, their headquarters down there. But then so much of it is them swimming around in diving suits, going in between locations, being in little submarines. And James Cameron does it with everything. Like, you see it in Way of Water, you see it in a lot of his movies, and I just cannot fathom how hard that would be or how stressful that would be day to day on set. You actually having to like swim and be in this and act while you're in these crazy situations, and just seeing the behind the scenes of them actually like with a crane lifting up some of the inside of these sets with people inside it, and then just slowly submerging it fully in water and filming them within it. It's just movies aren't really like made like this apart from James Cameron and some of the big blockbusters. It's just such a different way of filmmaking, and it really comes across.
Yeah, I love how with his films that you see how he kind of takes what he learns from each project and is building on what he's done before.
Yeah.
And you can, like, we're joking about his obsession with water, but you can sort of see the blueprint in this. Like, he's got his ragtag group of not quite mercenaries, but military-esque like guys.
Yeah.
There's a kind of creepy alien lurking about. There's loads of water. There's all this kind of like visual effects, tight corridors, and then also this like operatic scope that he's also so good at doing as well. You see all these kind of elements of his filmmaking really come together in this film in a really unique way, I feel.
Yeah. And it's not your typical like even me having watched it before, because usually on Podzilla especially we talk about like monster movies, monsters, creature features, and for some reason
historical movies that we haven't seen before.
Yeah, but I didn't remember this as being like there's aliens here, there's the pseudopod.
It's interesting because it's not the focus.
No, it's really like sci-fi light and almost like weirdly spiritual in a sense. Like it does remind me heaps of Avatar: Way of Water, with just the themes that it has throughout. But yeah, we've got like little tiny alien stingray guys flying around. We've got the what's the abyss could be the kaiju of this movie. The pseudopod, I guess.
What was that? I think it was Friedrich Nietzsche. Is that right? That might be an artist. The quote at the start of the movie: "Whenever you look into an abyss, the abyss looks back."
Yeah,
that's sick.
It definitely tries to give a characterization and personification to the abyss, which I love.
The location's the monster. Or aliens can control all the water, right? Surely they can make that into something more than just a tentacle if they wanted to. So it's got some monster potential in this. What do you guys think of the ragtag team, our crew? I don't think it's as like memorable as maybe the group from Aliens is, but there was the dude hippie with his rat.
With his little rat. No.
Love the rat.
Big rat fans over here.
I was going to ask, how did you feel, Jasha? I know rats are kind of sensitive subjects for you, and I'm so sorry that we made you watch this. Seeing that poor rats be quite frankly abused.
That was such a wild scene. How did they film that? There's some great acting from that rat drowning.
They're drowning that rat. They are like literally drowning that rat. Yeah.
Whilst also surrounding the little capsule, going, "Oh look, he's all right. He's breathing. Look, he's fine."
Yeah, I can speak to this a little bit. So they talk about this concept in the movie of being able to breathe fluid that has been crazy oxygenated. It is a proper sci-fi concept, and they did actually get a scientist in to oxygenate this fluorocarbon fluid on set. So the scene that we see of this rat underwater struggling to gasp,
they're just trying it, seeing if it works.
They actually drown a rat, and it's actually breathing fluid here.
Wow.
I think they had like six rats on hand, just in case anything bad happened. And we didn't end up with a Milo and Otis situation. All 6 rats ended up surviving.
Survived. There we go. It was the scene where they're looking at it like, look, he's actually breathing. He's all right. Guys, don't worry. He's all right. And he's still just like struggling, hardly moving.
He's all right. Just dying.
So wild.
From what I've read, they would have cut away less, but it probably ends up defecating in the water.
Does it?
I mean, if you think about it, that rat is still going through the throes of drowning.
Yeah. It's wild. But yeah, I enjoyed Hippie and his rat. I saw a lot of myself in his character. Who else do we have? We have like One Night, the lady she's got the coolest little setup in her tiny mini submarine. Like the auto non-spill mug holder, then all the tapes behind her.
Yeah.
I was watching the scene with her, and I'm like, man, if I'm so jealous of people who have the opportunity to just get together with a little crew and go on little ventures like this. I could see a lot of myself in One Night. Wow. I think I would be the person in my own little submarine, separate from the rest of the group, just jamming Willin' by Linda Ronstadt. That song sequence where they're singing together over the radio is an all-timer for me.
That's the thing, though. I feel like it's, when you spend too long with people in the office, it kind of like generates that, oh no, they're my friends, right? And then you spend time with them outside of work and you're just like, oh, I hate them.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like outside of that sub, I reckon they all just hate each other. I think we forget that. But they all did a very convincing role, actually, of feeling like that they lived in that environment. Everything felt very lived in, and you felt the frustrations of everyone. And everyone's acting was actually quite subtle. I think one of the best scenes in it, obviously, was when they're doing the resuscitation.
Oh,
Cameron does his he loves his group scenes, doesn't he? Where everyone looks at one person either dying or something like that. And they were all pretty exceptional in that scene. It was pretty amazing. It was pretty amazing. I did really enjoy it.
Yeah, that is another just insane sequence. I love how this whole movie from the outset, it just feels like it's chucking these people into just a big old pressure cooker. And some of them are like slowly losing their minds. Some of them have messy pasts that are coming like boiling to the top. And it's just slowly, I feel like when we get to that scene with when Bud and his wife need to pick like, okay, we only have enough oxygen for one of us. One of us is going to have to die, and just hope that we can get brought back to life. It's a super great sequence. It might be my favorite bit of the whole film, just that moment of her dying and then the like 10 minutes it feels like when she's just not coming back to life and he's not given up.
I remember sitting in cinemas earlier this year and watching Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning and just being absolutely blown away.
I was going to say this. I was like, that movie just plagiarized The Abyss.
Yeah.
It is outrageous. And I was so impressed with that film, the Mission Impossible film, and the way they did the sequences underwater.
Yeah.
But then I was like, yeah, but The Abyss did it on 70mm film.
Yeah. I was sitting in the theater and being like so vividly, I remember watching that. It must be at least a 20-minute sequence of Tom Cruise diving and them just having to film around crazy conditions outside the submarine, but also inside the submarine, with the sub filling with water, rotating around, and just all the logistics of having to film in a space like that. And I really left that cinema with such a crazy impression of that scene in particular. But then you're right, Adam, like coming and watching this movie that's nearly 40 years old, I was going through those exact same emotions, and just my mind was blown time and time again of, even like you were saying, Jasha, that sequence with Bud and Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio's character, Lindsay. I absolutely adore her acting in this movie, but it feels like a very Ethan Hunt-esque stunt having her drown intentionally.
Well, he literally does
freezing
that
cold water
in Final Reckoning, right? He dies and then he has to be resuscitated just by the time he reaches the surface.
Literally.
Yeah.
This is what I think we've really clocked on something here. Like, they owe Cameron an apology.
Yeah.
And even the opening scene where they're it opens up, interior submarine. You follow someone go through the submarine, you meet everyone, and something comes up on the radar. Bleep, bleep. Oh, it's getting closer. Bleep, bleep.
Yep.
But what is it? It doesn't hit. What is it? And then something happens, and then the AI robot is just actually the creature.
Yeah.
You're right.
It's just a stand-in.
I couldn't believe it. I was watching it, and I was just like, surely this has to be a talking point.
It is a fly. It actually is. And like the nuclear threat at the bottom of the whole thing, just like that final Mission Impossible.
I know.
Yeah. Hey, Christopher McQuarrie.
I think what was really interesting as well was that you're completely right. Those two scenes made me feel very similar. But I really liked how intentional that this film was in doing a lot of it handheld. There was so much of this film that was just done in handheld as like a feeling that you're actually there with them in the water, or you're there with them when there's the resuscitation. There's very few static shots in this, and often they are just used to establish like scale, or just like the kind of the needed wides in the water to show like the whole base moving or whatever. And with Mission Impossible, you know, one thing I really liked about that was that actually there was a lot of static, gave a really interesting perspective where you could see like the angle of water at a weird space.
Yeah, that was cool.
And that was incredibly unique for that film, but I actually prefer the way they did it in this film. It just really added to the immersion of it. And a lot of the scenes were very claustrophobic.
Yeah.
Obviously, they were fiddling around often with like the neck lining of the thingy. And I think that style of camera work really helped with the claustrophobia I felt. And a lot of scenes genuinely kind of like, as someone who does get claustrophobic feeling that. But I really liked that aspect of it. I think it added a lot. And I don't know how difficult it was to even like, you know, just rig stuff in that way. So handheld kind of, maybe it was just like the way they did it unintentionally, but yeah.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall for every single hour of development for this movie.
Oh yeah.
Real quick, so there are two versions of this movie. There's the theatrical cut, which is 2 hours, about 20 minutes, I think. And then there's a special edition, which is 2 hours 50 and includes like a good half hour of more content.
Wow.
Jaysha, you might be able to speak to
You
what's
think these
added
guys
there.
had access to the special edition?
Well, I was going to say, do you guys know which version you watched?
We were lucky to get like a 144p version. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I watched the special edition, and I think the differences had more of like this is Russia doing this, Soviet Union, this is like a nuclear threat from them. Like that was more prevalent the whole way through the movie, which was a whole part of Coffey's character, Michael Bynes. So it'd be interesting to hear. Was he? Because I just said the CPR scene is my favorite part of the movie, but he's probably my favorite character in this film.
He's an incredible antagonist here.
Yeah, this guy who comes in as kind of the military needs to go down and recover the nuclear warhead, find the submarine at the bottom of the ocean, and then slowly just losing his cool completely and just becoming a madman by the halfway point. What did you guys think of him? Did he still feel like as compelling, losing a bit of that like nuclear threat behind him?
You can definitely feel in the theatrical cut that there's sort of pieces missing.
yeah.
You can tell things got left on the cutting room floor in order to, get things kind of moving. But he was great. What a mustache, can I say? What an excellent mustache.
Goals.
I like how they set up, the whole thing about the I don't know what the jargon they use in the film. Let's just call it underwater craziness. How they sort of introduce the idea, explain that you see him, notice his hands are shaking stuff, and you're laying the seeds. And it works. His character works in order to kind of add that tension to the film. This is a sci-fi kind of monster feature in a way, but it is also very just down practical in a sense. This is my favorite version of sci-fi kind of stories where the sci-fi is kind of just in the background, like isn't really super prevalent.
Lo-fi sci-fi.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah, lo-fi sci-fi, I like that. Where just the world building is based in science fiction, but there is that realistic approach. Obviously, that realistic is, I'm stretching that quite a bit with this film, I suppose. But
Sure, yeah.
and yeah, I liked how they made the characters work in the film. Some of the characters could feel quite kind of stereotypical in a way. You've got the crazy soldier who's got on the mad ones. That's what Coffey is, but it works, and the actors are really selling it, and it's functional for the story as well. It's functional just to keep the narrative moving. So yeah, I really enjoyed that element of it.
It is cool how it is just a whole lot of, I guess, different plot lines or different themes altogether, because this is kind of the main conflict in the film. It becomes this Bud versus Coffey type situation, but then you do have the aliens bubbling away back there. You do have the stuff with the like threat above Earth, which I think was the other thing that the special edition had that the theatrical didn't, was there was a bit more on the aliens actually like getting ready to destroy Earth, and then slowly peeling back once they see Bud and his messages to his wife, and their relationship. And then there is a little bit of good. There is a little good in us, guys. We're not all war and nukes and all that. But I just loved Michael Byn's performance, and then slowly just seeing like his neck starting to tense and him starting to sweat a bit more. Mm-hmm. And there's that sequence when everything starts escalating and everyone starts shouting at each other, and it doesn't seem like it's a pretty like full on stressful sequence. But then when it simmers down and you see he was ready to shoot someone who had his gun ready to go behind his back the whole time, I thought was a pretty cool moment for the character. Like, yeah, things were getting stressful, things were escalating, but he was already ready to kill someone or kill these friends or people that he's been pleasant with up till then. It was pretty great. I just love the sequence in the submarines when they're fighting, and his implosion finally at the end looked so cool.
Yeah,
I like the guy. That mustache.
seeing the restoration for this movie, like I was shocked at just how good. Even like obviously you can say whatever you want for the monsters, CG. It is groundbreaking for the time, but everything peripherally around that still holds up to this day.
I think I didn't mind that. I think the pseudopod still looked all right when it was like changing faces. It's obviously CG. I was pretty impressed by it and how they cut between that and like the real water when it like the door closed on it and it splashed down to the ground.
Yeah.
The CG that I think didn't really click is everything when they're like swimming around near the alien ship with like the purple backdrop, and it's obvious like Harris being led into the. That's the stuff that's a little rough, but you're right. It does still like stand the test of time, and I love the little use of like stop motion for the little arms of the submarines, and just how much he's playing with practically here.
Well, he's using every tool in the tool shed, right?
Yeah.
And I love that, you know, and making his own.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I think it's so easy to forget that, you know, he had to work with the best of the best to invent the newest ways of doing things just to be able to tell this story. And I think that's wonderful. I think it's great, right? And also, the cinematography is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
In this, so much of it lays itself to the fact that a lot of it has to be practically lit. Obviously, when you're in, you know, the whole set's inside a submarine. And I guess it's similar to like Alien, you know, where you're just in a spaceship. You're going off of like lamps and radars and screens and all this stuff. And it, you know, as much as it makes it look pretty, it also does a great job about showing and also not showing faces. You know, like when a screen would like turn off or all the power would go, you'd also kind of be like searching to see in the shot how they react to it and if they're okay.
The blues, just everything like backlit by that subtle blue, or like
he
like you're saying,
loves a
like
backlight.
someone's face.
He loves the backlight, doesn't he? You know, where they're walking down the corridor, the beams of light flying out. He loves that. But yeah, the opening scene where they were going around the submarine, they're following that one character just walking around. I loved that you went from kind of like practical setup to practical setup. You know, we'd go over to the table and they'd all be lit by a little lamp, and then it was just like flashes of screens and all that stuff. And I think it just felt really considered. That I loved. It just made, I don't know, as well, because they shot it on film, it all just looks really gorgeous, doesn't it?
I think that's something that I think we might have lost. That's something you could probably owe to the copy you had to track down, because I think for the most recent remastering and like the release on Apple TV, which we watched, they've remastered it, but in such a way that they've stripped all the film grain out, and it's very like, it kind of looks fake and soft whenever there's close-ups of people, which was something that it didn't really, you could tell that everything had been airbrushed a little bit, which was a shame.
That was a shame.
Yeah. Still looked great, but
You're saying we got to go back.
we have to go back, man. Why are we editing out film grain? Why is that a thing we should ever do?
I know.
Speaking of, actually, got to go back. Just wanted to talk about the score for a second. Alan Silvestri, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, right?
Yeah.
So
The goat.
I think composers often get like kind of forgotten about. You know, you have like the big names in that world, but it's either often because they're like a big character and are very like outwardly talking about their work, like Danny Elfman or someone like that, and then you've got you know, like the big names like Hans Zimmer and whatever. Alan Silvestri, I'd never heard of, and just so happens that he scored some of like my favorite films ever. You know, he did specifically Back to the Future, and is still working today in Hollywood, and more specifically Marvel.
Wow.
He's scored so many of the Marvel films and worked in the sound departments of so many of those.
Oh, wow, you're right.
Like even up till Endgame and some of the newer ones. Most of the Avengers films, Doomsday as well, I think he's working on. So, but just like all these, like even a really, really small film that I used to love as a kid, called Mouse Hunt.
Oh, Mouse
Love
Hunt.
Mouse Hunt.
That I specifically remember because of its music.
Yeah.
Such a weird film, right?
Yeah.
But I remember that film because of its music. And yeah, I always love when you discover that. You realise that this one person's creativity and decisions have kind of like, have really like moulded your taste over time without you realising. It's like when I found out who like Roger Deakins was as a DP, I was like, oh, like these are all films that completely got me into filmmaking. And I just didn't know who he was.
Yeah, it's funny. Just great soundtrack. Like even from the outset, and especially the music that they use at the end with the UFO stuff, I thought was really beautiful.
Yeah.
That whole sequence, I just love the way those little alien guys look. Their faces with their eyes and their little hands. It's such a weird design.
They are cute, aren't they? They were very cute.
Very cute. And him getting led down into their ship. It reminded me of like Halo 3, like some of the Covenant maps, the inside of that UFO. Because it's a pretty wild, I guess, conclusion as well to find out that these aliens have been down here monitoring us, are ready to wipe us out with tsunamis because we're so evil to one another. And then Ed Harris is able to come in there and save the world with the power of love. It's quite a wild little epilogue to the movie, or finale, I guess.
I think that's my only thing that I didn't like, actually, was the ending. I felt like it really just could have been something. I think my problem with it is that it made a great thriller a lot of the way through it because of, and that was mostly due to the fact that all of the actors in it were so good at building tension between each other.
Yeah.
And the filmmaking that was involved in building that tension, and how amazing all the set design was and the kind of scenes that they created. So I feel like it could have actually been like a very, very good thriller if they just went fully down that genre. And then at the end, it kind of felt like the genre flipped a little bit, and it lost a lot of that. Maybe maybe you don't agree, but like I just felt that it was a little disappointing. Actually, I don't know. I felt like it shouldn't have really got like a very, very happy ending. I think it would have been a lot better if it all went to
let's just flood the earth.
Really, really bad, and they learned something from it as humanity to just, maybe they killed the aliens and were like, actually, we're terrible people. I don't know.
Dude, Michael Biehn surviving, getting into the alien spaceship and like ripping and tearing his way through them.
Yeah.
What could it be?
It's game over, man.
I think the one thing that didn't really work for me this time around was kind of that love story.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just feels very awkward. And from when they first meet each other and Lindsay hating Bud so much, and there's obviously stuff that's happened, him still holding on to this. I still love the sequence when he chucks out his ring and it just sits on the toilet and you see him scrambling back to find it again.
Nothing says true love like fishing your wedding ring out the bog.
Dude, the black stuff in that toilet. Unholy.
Gross.
The bleach or whatever it is.
Unholy.
We got to go find a portaloo, do some experiments.
But like slowly, I guess, things happen. He saves her life, and then all of a sudden it feels like she just clicks into loving him and being head over heels for him again, and them rekindling that. And then the whole finale of him going down there is very sweet, of them messaging each other back and forth. But yeah, I felt kind of similar to you, Adam, that at the end, the aliens rising up and then them like kissing while the whole thing fades to black. I was like, oh, it's just a little bit hokey for me. I don't know.
I really feel like you could have used that of him kind of like finding himself as a person. It could have been like the end of like, oh, actually, I don't know. I'm very closed off and I'm very like,
let's go with the wedding ring.
I should be more open to and kinder or something like that. And then it ending with them kind of like waving goodbye to one another, realizing they don't need one another or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just felt like it was so cheesy, wasn't it? Like
I thought so too.
And it was also the last shot of the film. I was like, that's not the bit I was interested in. I want the last shot to be like the everyone in the submarine or something like that, or just seeing the aliens or something. Just not them. Just
Ed Harris going to space, waving goodbye
out the window. Hello,
Alex. Do you, the biggest Wicked fan, agree with the sentiment?
What do you think of Love, Alex? What do you think of true love and its power to save us all?
Oh, I love love. I love love. No, it's a bit cheesy, yeah, sure. But, you know, if you really sort of try probe that relationship, right, there's obviously, like I said, there's obviously like some sort of history there. They're very strong characters who have this sort of this pleasure with one another, and you know, maybe the film kind of wisely doesn't choose to explore that, so in order so that we can get them to reconvene towards the end of the film. But I kind of liked it in a way. I think that say what you want about, you know, old Jim, but I think he's a bit of a romantic, and I think he likes kind of these kind of operatic, sweeping stories. And if he can fit in a romance into a thriller and a sci-fi and a espionage thriller, then, you know, why not go for it? I respect that he tries to go for those swings, and I think that the kind of more sentimental side of this film did work for me. I liked the message. I liked how the conflict was sort of resolved by his words. You know, that's what changed the creatures' minds about, you know, destroying humanity or whatever, is that they saw this love that they had for her. And I thought that was kind of really
thank you, Alex,
touching and beautiful in a weird way.
Preach it.
So yeah, the romance, I bought it.
You've been watching too much Wicked, man.
I bought it. I don't know. I was there for it. I think it works because you see those characters switch, and you know, that scene we spoke about earlier, the resuscitation scene, is so brilliant because it's such a strong character moment as well, where you really do realize where these characters are at with each other and what they actually do feel for one another, and it's in there in the film, you know, the whole thing about the ring, that impossible, insanely strong ring that can hold a, you know, hydraulic door open.
I was having heard and seen too many traumatic finger injuries, and also having in my childhood go through the process of getting a titanium ring stuck on my finger. I was fearing for him in that sequence.
Oh God.
He must have spent a lot of money as well on that ring, because there's no way that I have any ring that could sustain the strength of a hydraulic door. I was like, we're about to watch his finger get fried right now.
Yeah.
There's no
Guys,
way that's staying open.
It's all right. It's unobtainium.
It's like the best ad for a ring ever.
Right. No, I feel like I might be with you there, Alex. I might be far more saccharine. I really love the romance in this movie. I feel like it does a great depiction of just what going through shared trauma can do to build your relationship with one another. And I think, I don't know if it was in the theatrical cut either, but hearing that the initial tension growing between those two's relationship came about by Lindsay ending up getting a promotion and going into a bit more corporate work, and really just leaving Bud to feel like he's been left behind in the dust. I feel like, I don't know, I really love all the different showcases of tension in this movie, and how it really just strips away a lot of those top layers of potentially even facades of, I don't know, bitterness that can grow on these characters. I feel like Lindsay is spoken of throughout this movie as this real, just
stone cold
speaker, like doesn't take anything from anyone. And I don't know, I'll get back to the CPR scene because I have some major gripes with it.
The best scene in the film?
And one I did tear up in. But like, I feel like this movie just throughout its runtime starts to peel back all of these different layers and uses the setting and uses the different tensions that arise to really get to the heart of all these characters and their motivations. And going from that CPR scene where Lindsay has experienced the cold, dark depths of the abyss for herself, and then flipping that around and Bud going through essentially the exact same situation. He's having to go through that oxygenated fluid process, so he is feeling like he's drowning through this sequence, and you see him going through those same almost like suffocating breaths, even though he can breathe.
Great acting.
Yeah.
I'm blown away by the acting in this movie here. I feel like it's just a great role reversal. And like you were saying, Adam, I think you could very well end it on a note of Bud feeling like he has now been exposed to the depths and found himself and become content with what he's found. But I really like the angle that they've gone and shot for here, where you have these two people who have experienced so much. And the other theme at play here is also, like you were saying, this alien subplot in the background. And I really love the route they take with that. There's a theme that comes up in movies now and then, which is discovery in the face of inevitability. And I really love that point in the movie where their big rig falls down into the depths. They've got 12 hours of oxygen left, and they almost know for certain that no one's going to come and save them. There's a hurricane going on in the background that's not going to let up anytime soon. And even when they know almost for certain that they're going to die, this idea of there being life out there gets the entire crew excited. And I feel like this movie just ends up playing with a lot of those themes, that even though this crew is now separated with almost no hope of escape, it's really bringing to light these very base human emotions, and not the ones you'd expect, or maybe the ones you would expect from different characters. Coffee's subplot just goes to an insane breaking point for him, which I really love. And I feel like throughout all the different characters here, you're seeing a lot of those different emotions come to the surface. Again, no pun intended.
Oof, very good.
Yeah.
Can we speak on that CPR scene?
Can we please? Yeah, can we get Nurse Micah in the building?
As much as I love it, as much as I love Lindsay's plot to drown herself at sub-zero temperatures, not sub-zero. It's not turning to ice. Near zero temperatures. So that she can then be revived and have CPR done and her body brought back to normal human
It's the plot of
temperatures.
one of the Final Destination movies as well, I think.
Right.
Final Destination? Not Final Reckoning?
No, Final Reckoning and Final Destination. But I watched the Final Destinations recently. And I think one of them's like, okay, this is because we have to die for death to be happy with us. So we're going to drown ourselves and then be brought back. And then they're going to be death's going to be happy.
Yeah.
I'm guessing Death was not happy with that arrangement.
Death was sated for a little bit. But death always comes back for you, you know?
Bit cross.
Yeah, I need to catch those movies. So...
She was gone for too long.
The whole thing with CPR is if your heart loses its rhythm, your heart runs on electricity. If you die, it will stop pumping and lose that rhythm there most of the time. But when you're doing CPR, you're essentially doing those chest compressions to bring the oxygenated blood that you're breathing into the lungs to push it around the body. When you're doing proper CPR, you're wanting to do so many compressions.
You want to like match the heartbeat.
You're wanting to match a normal heartbeat or a fast enough one that it feasibly is still oxygenating the rest of the body while the heart is not doing its work.
Yeah.
I will start off by saying that Bud does not do nearly enough chest compressions.
He's putting his heart and soul into it, though. He's like,
he is.
But he did the slap.
Yeah, but Mike,
surely that would have got the blood going.
Yeah,
he did the slap.
He slapped her in the face. What else is he meant to do? He called her. He swore at her. He screamed. That's what brought her back.
That's up there with the lost sequence of like actually punching someone's chest. Her body being so cold would make it so hard to pump the blood around his body by doing compressions. He's not doing them nearly enough. He's not giving great breaths. He's not tilting her head back. Even if you do all those correctly, the chances of, like even in a realistic situation, someone being brought back are so slim. I think the stats are you lose 10% survivability for every minute that you go without.
Every minute?
Without chest compressions or with chest compressions even. But on top of all that, you're really just holding out until you get the defibrillator on scene. They're doing this on metal flooring.
You're expecting too much of them.
When is it One Night who was in the separate sub? When One Night says Claire, you're supposed to back away and not be touching anything. They're all kneeling their knees on metal floor. They're all going to be shocked so fast.
Water, covered in water.
Covered.
Yeah, soaking wet.
I also love once she comes back, like she's just fully functioning again, like on the comms talking. Whereas I feel like if you've lost that much, it would do brain damage to you, right?
Oh, you'd be asleep for days, surely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't be waking up and back normal within 6 hours.
But Mike, it's worth the shot, right?
But it's the slap.
If we were to drown, if there was only enough oxygen in one suit and there were two of us down there, it's worth a shot.
It's worth a shot.
Ethan Hunt would
like I said, Ethan Hunt would do it.
Yeah.
And like I said, I was tearing up. I feel like even still, I appreciate the emotions that he's putting in there. What I was most surprised at for the scene, actually, quick trivia bit, the first time they tried to film that sequence, the cameras weren't running.
Oh, no.
And
You joking.
Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio ended up like walking off the set because of how harrowing that would be for her. But I was so impressed of her throughout that scene, the fact that she can stay so still and so non-reactive to the point where when Bud slaps her, she doesn't really react. And that alone like blows my mind and makes me so impressed and wanting to do a deep dive on her different roles that she's done in her career.
She hasn't done much, which I was shocked by because she
Yeah.
was the standout for me in this.
Yeah.
She's doing a lot of theatre nowadays. She's still in the acting business.
There we go.
We need to get her on the show.
Please.
I believe in you guys.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do. Yeah, oh man, it's good to hear though. Like them not filming, stuffing up on a big film shoot like The Abyss, missing a shot, accidentally not hitting record, because I do that all the time and my stuff's small scale and I still get stressed out about being like, hey, we're going to have to do that again. It's good to know that happens on James Cameron's set sometimes too.
I mean, on top of everybody saying he's a very dictatorial director and all the horror stories you hear about this movie in particular, if you have stuff like that happening on a near day-to-day basis, you can imagine just how high tense
Something else
everything must
every
feel.
scene. Yeah.
Well, I was just thinking when I was watching it, like, how interesting this film is going to be if they actually do kill her off. What's that going to do? 'Cause she's such an integral part of, like, the story and the emotion of the story. If you were to kill her off, how would that change the course of everything in the film? And because it was shot quite convincingly and edited in a way where it was pretty much like, nah, she's gone. And he's having this breakdown. And then I was really expecting it to cut back to him and then just stay on him of being like, this is the moment in which he changes as a character and realizes that's what prompts him to be like, I've got to sacrifice myself, and go into the water and do all this stuff because she would have done it and she sacrificed herself. That's really the way I expected it to go. And I was thinking to myself before the show started, like, what the ending would have been like if they would have gone down that route. I wonder if they ever did in like the writing of the script. Maybe it was something that they chose not to. I don't know. But yeah, I thought it would have been quite interesting.
The aliens would have never seen their text messages.
Yeah, they probably just would have nuked them, to be honest. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, humanity's gone. I feel like there's that sentiment throughout the movie as well. Like, I was wondering if you didn't have that alien pseudopod aspect of this movie, you really just end the movie with Bud going down nearly 10,000 feet into the depths, disarming the warhead there, and then just being left there. Like, he doesn't have enough oxygen to get back to the surface. As much as I love that it is a subplot, I'm also curious, like you were saying, Adam, at what this movie would be like if you didn't have that and it were just a straight thriller.
Yeah.
Because it would end up in some very heavy places.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I think it would have really changed everyone's kind of trajectory and the decisions that they made throughout the movie. I think it would have been an interesting thing to explore, but yeah, it's not that I dislike the end. I think it's perfectly great. Everything makes sense. It ties together.
Just a little too nice.
Yeah, I think when you create a different ending in your head, it does stay with you for a while. But it speaks more to the film that it's actually affecting you emotionally. that you are getting to a place where you're thinking about how to make it better and the way that you think it's going to go, and you're clearly engaged in that place. So it's done its job, and I do feel like it's going to be one of those films that I revisit in my head for quite a few days.
I think so.
And just think about the decisions they make, because a lot happens, It's a long film. But I just find it really interesting, obviously, that you guys talking a little bit about how much of a disaster it was to make. I mean, I think that's crazy. It was like, especially one of our favorite dives I think we did was on a film called Stalker.
Yeah, great episode.
Where we spoke about how much of a literal nightmare that film was afterwards. But I always find this really fascinating because it's often a thing that's never known by the public, right?
Mm-hmm.
I read somewhere as well that he was going through a divorce when he made this.
Oh, true.
And maybe that had something to do with like his emotional storytelling within it and the way that characters went. And I read that and I was like,
For sure, subconsciously at least, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But I was reading that everyone was like, oh yeah, made one of the most expensive technical evolutions in cinema whilst going through a divorce. Like, that's so based.
I just cannot believe I watched a handful of the behind the scenes stuff, but just seeing them practically make Deep Core, I think it's called, their like base of operations, that main ship, seeing them practically make the outside of that life size in like a big sound stage somewhere, them filling it all up with water until it's actually fully life size submerged, and then filming around it. It's just so crazy. And all the sequences, I just love all the danger in this of, hey, something on the surface is broken off like the crane and it could fall down and hit us. Or all the sequence, things are falling to the ocean floor, things are sliding away, things are pulling other things with it. I just love that a lot of that was done, and I can't even believe it done practically.
I'm going to quickly read a little bit of IMDb trivia here.
Take us
as much as I love it, as much as I love stealing IMDb trivia for every single episode of this podcast, there is so much crazy insight into the movie here. I'll read this one paragraph. The production was plagued by adversities and setbacks. There were engineering delays that slowed down production on the never-used nuclear reactor that served as the water tank, as well as the sets within, and when the tank was finally filled, thunderstorms and pipe ruptures complicated things. The tank was so huge that it had its own weather, and the water was often too murky to film. Local goats sometimes invaded the set, destroying equipment and urinating over floors. Delays caused shooting days to last an average of 15 to 18 hours near the end, which caused exhaustion and agitation among cast and crew who already had a tough time dealing with James Cameron's relentless pace and dictatorial behavior. The constant cold and submersion caused many to come down with ear and sinus infections, and there were many near-drowning accidents on set, and finally filming was delayed one day due to a bomb threat. And like you were saying there, Alex, as well, James Cameron himself nearly drowned during production because the assistant director failed to replace his oxygen. So he had a crazy event where he was trying to get to the surface as soon as possible. And he was suffering from like lung damage due to decompression from having to swim up to the surface so fast. The fact that
this is wild.
Amidst all of that, just looking at the scope of this film, and you see those sequences like the giant crane falling down under the ocean, I'm just struck with awe by how this was all done 40 or so years ago,
and how none of that behind the scenes stuff really, you can tell.
No, it doesn't have an impact on the film at all.
No,
Probably the performances and the intensity of everything, but even just hearing it was filmed in a real nuclear silo, had its own weather because it was so massive. It's
a crazy undertaking. Crazy. I think that's my main takeaway from this film is I think I personally have the feeling that, as time goes on, movies are only getting not better and better, but like the technical aspects of it are getting more and more impressive. Cut back to me in the cinema watching Final Reckoning, being blown away by the sub scene, but then seeing just the lengths that the creatives are going through on this set for 1989 for months on end, using quite a small budget of like around $40 million to make what seems just like such an impressive piece of filmmaking. I like this. This is up there with like one of the more like impactful films for me in terms of how it changes my thoughts around not just filmmaking, but how much effort is put into everything else around that peripheral process.
Yeah, I think it's also when you adjust it for inflation as well. Apparently, it did end up costing around 70 million. But that was obviously in 1989 or around about that.
Yeah, 89.
Well, I think it's so noticeable when you're watching these scenes with like the entire walkthroughs of the subs or different shots running through the bases, flooding the entire set, and then going to, as much as I hate to bag on them as we have for the past 5 years, but you go to like recent Marvel movies that exclusively use blue screens and end up using so much of the budget just on VFX.
Yeah.
It really makes you take pause for a second and think about like,
is it worth it to have your director nearly drowned though? There's also
is
the
it worth it to
hand.
give trauma to the entire cast? No, but I feel like we aren't hearing as many stories of really, really ambitious teams behind these movies nowadays.
Like you do on James Cameron films, man.
Apart from James Cameron and the Mission Impossible movies, him and Tom Cruise are really doing 80% of the work.
I was literally going to say Mission Impossible maybe. But
yeah, that'll be the closest thing, right?
That definitely. Yeah, you don't see, and the saddest part is that the Marvel films have the biggest budget. You know, like they have really the biggest equity of any film today. Like obviously, they're making the two new Avengers films back to back or whatever they're doing right now. I guess we'll soon find out about what's in store for that. And I agree. It's really sad that you don't hear these huge stories, right, that are often now, because they're so rare, used as marketing pieces from the studios that can actually afford it. You know, I think the last time I remember, other than Mission Impossible, was maybe like 1917.
Yeah.
Where they made a marketing campaign around specifically how it was made and how difficult it was, and how that added to like the watching it. But you're right, you just don't really get that much anymore. It's a real shame.
I wonder if an aspect of it is just the turnaround of movies nowadays. Obviously, when you've got companies like Marvel that are wanting to push out, I mean, in recent years, like 2, 3, even sometimes 4 different projects at a time, you can't really afford to spend, I don't know how long the pre-production was for this movie, but let's say roughly 5 years, even just setting the different pieces of equipment and safety nettings and training for actors, every other aspect of those that goes into even before you start shooting these movies. I feel like I'm really curious to see. I mean, again, James Cameron is still in that area. Like he works on these Avatar movies for so long, and I feel like he's hyper fixated on the CG aspect of the Avatar movies for good reason. He's doing incredible stuff in that sphere. But it's just made me even more curious as to how many of these really ambitious individuals and teams and projects are going to come out of the next several decades that, I'm watching movies for.
Yeah, and it's just something else when you watch a movie and you are so taken aback by the behind the scenes stuff, and you are so like inspired almost by their use of not just like digital stuff, but practical stuff and the experience that everyone went through. I would have loved to, even though it sounds grueling as anything, like imagine how cool, not to Ed Harris, but how cool like being on set and going through that with everyone and coming out the other side and just having that as part of your career. Like how impressive or how crazy that must feel. Yeah, it's amazing. James Cameron, guys. James Cameron. Did you want to take us home, Adam, with any final thoughts you have, or maybe a rating for The Abyss?
Well, I was thinking about obviously how we used to rate them, and I think I was like, I decided maybe like water creature, how many water creatures, but then I was like, you could use, I don't know, water VFX renders out of 10. I don't know.
That's good. How many years is it taking to render the water?
How many server
effects?
rooms?
How many
Today? Yeah, Christ. Yeah, how many server rooms out of 10 is this? ILM server rooms. I guess, yeah, I mean, the film surprised me. When you guys recommend us a film, it tends to be one that's either incredibly impressive and groundbreaking or one where we all just sit around laughing at how bad it is, right? So, truthfully, when you recommended that we kind of go around this film, I was like, okay, well, they've brought us back with a complete goof.
That was Alex, Adam. It was all Alex. He's the one who stitched you up.
I can't believe this. Self-sabotage.
It was me. It was always me.
It's always been you. I was like, it's bound to be a goofy hour movie.
Yeah, we do a lot of goofy movies over here.
You know? And so when it started and in the opening scenes was like, damn, I love how this is shot. I realized that, okay, I might have to lock in a second, get my notebook back out and actually like pay attention because this is going to be a ride. And I'm glad I did because this is really one that I really want to actually rewatch. I'd love to kind of rewatch it, the extended version, if I can even get my hands on it. But I would like to rewatch it. I'd like to see what a few other people in my life think about it. And it just really impressed me. It really impressed me, and hearing all of these stories made me realize how much I do actually miss filmmaking stories and how much of a feat this was. And really is a perfect example of like all the things that James Cameron does very well. And I think that so much of his other movies are so engrossed in their storytelling and it being like an iconic story. Like Titanic is such an iconic story. It seems to be like that's what people talk about. Like, oh, it was so emotional. It, you know, first film I ever cried at, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? No one talks so much about how it was shot or like how impressive that was. But with this, it really does highlight that, even though the story is very good. It felt like it was just a playground for him to have fun and experiment.
Yeah, big time.
And to have a film like that and it have such a big budget and so much innovation behind it is so rare. I can't really think of many other films like it. And for that reason alone, I think I really, really enjoyed it. And it's going to be one of those ones that I do revisit because I actually want to watch it again. I do have my kind of my thoughts on the story. You know, it really wasn't my favorite, but in what actually happened with the characters and how good the acting was, you know, I kind of forgot about the fact I wasn't enjoying the actual story so much. It was more that I was very invested in the characters on screen and believed them, really. You know, I really felt that they were actually going through these things as theatrical and magical as they were at times. I did believe it. And I think that that's a very hard thing to do. It's a very hard thing to direct. And for all of those technical reasons, I really, really liked it. It's probably a solid 7 ILM server rooms out of 10.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Nice.
Yeah, I was very eager to, you know, jump into this one with you guys, and I'm glad that we've kind of touched on the filmmaking aspects of this. It's what kind of drew me to recommending this in the first place, and I'm glad that we've all kind of agreed in one way or another about the effort that went into making this film. And you know, you said
monumental.
It is monumental there, and you know, we kind of jokingly say like, "Oh, they don't make them like this anymore," but they really don't. Like even James Cameron doesn't make them like this anymore, and there's probably a lot of valid reasons to not make them like this anymore. Granted,
oh, for sure, sounds like it.
But I don't know, man. Filmmaking can be impressive. You know, it doesn't just have to be a narrative sweep, you know, to take you away. It can you can be blown away by just the practicality of the filmmaking itself, and that quality is what gives the film its merit and its meaning. And I feel like The Abyss falls into that kind of zone where, sure, you can pick parts of the story apart, and you can criticize elements of it, but seeing this film, even if it's on a small screen at home, on with my VPN on or with Disney Plus, it's still amazingly impressive. I joke about Cameron because he's not my goat, all right? He's not my greatest of all time sort of filmmaker, but I can't deny his vision, and it's really impressive. I to be honest, I bought the story. I felt that it works for what it was going for. It felt very classic in a way that films just don't really feel anymore. And to recognize how impressive it was for the time, especially, you got to take that into consideration. I think that it's easy to kind of revisit these kind of older films, and maybe some of the qualities about it feel quite dated, but I know, I feel like this is definitely one of his more underrated pieces. So yeah, very pleasantly surprised by this one, I have to say, and I'm glad that I feel like the vibes that we all sort of enjoyed it. So I'm glad that I chose like a decent pick.
Well done.
I was thinking of what ratings we could give this one. I'm thinking it's definitely a solid 4 rats in sandwich bags out of 5 for me.
I love that scene.
Yeah, that's better. We'll stick with that.
Rats and sandwich
bags.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
I love the Indiana Jones stand-in moment where instead of reaching for his hat under the closing door, reaching for the rat in the bag.
Yeah.
I verbally, when that happened, and there was the cutaway to the rat looking really sad and the submersible about to crush him, I audibly was like, no, get the rat.
It's a great moment.
I'm so glad that didn't end in tears. I think that would have ruined the movie.
Yeah,
for sure.
It made it.
Final couple of thoughts I have here is I love so much of the physicality of this movie and the tension. There's that moment early on where Bud is leaving one of the other divers through the abandoned rig, and he's having like a panic attack in the moment. And the lighting's real great in the moment, but then you get this quick cut to what the diver sees inside of his helmet. And I think that moment so quickly hits with just how claustrophobic, being in an abandoned underwater rig with dead bodies around you is so quickly. There's that moment where I don't know if the characters end up dying. It seems like they did, but when the entire rig was filling up with water and you have all the characters trying to make their way through the different doors closing off the water, and then Bud tries to get to a door, it closes, and you see that there are 3 guys trapped with no way out. Did those characters die?
I think people did die, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty certain.
I'm sure. I was just so struck in that moment at how effective it is to have not just one character, but multiple characters in your movie killed off in such a quick moment that they have really no control over. Mm-hmm. It's so striking. And so much of this movie, I really love other quite sci-fi heavy movies that focus more on the practical aspects rather than any crazy sci-fi concepts. Big fan of The Martian by Andy Weir. I love that book and that movie. I'm really looking forward to his upcoming movie, Project Hail Mary, with good old Ryan Gosling in. Because that very much lies in that filmmaking sphere of movies that hyper focus on the stress and the tension that arise in those moments. Another very similar movie that I'll shout out that I absolutely adore is The China Syndrome, directed by James Bridges, stars Jane Fonda, Michael Douglas, and Jack Lemmon. Focuses on a very I want to say Chernobyl-esque scenario, not knowing too much about the real life events that occurred there. But me and
your
Jette
favorite movies are like disasters and people having to struggle with recovering from them.
Me and Jette saw that movie at a movie marathon years back, and it's these type of movies that just ramp up the tension and characters having to come up with very DIY solutions to problems and just all the emotions that come around because of that. I really, really, really love this movie. I think that there's so much to say about all the filmmaking techniques and what goes on behind the scenes, but then just all the different themes that it plays with. I'm going to also give it... Oh, do I dare? I'll stick with it. Four rats in sandwich bags as well. Really love this movie.
Nice. I'm surprised you liked it that much. That's awesome. I'm just going through some of my little notes I took. Guys, we got a festive tie-in. Michael Biehn's character sings Partridge in a Pear Tree.
Oh my God, you're so right, yeah.
When they're saying all the terrible effects that are going to happen to you if you lose oxygen down there.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, we're getting Christmassy already for a December release. This is good.
It's all coming together.
Unbeknownst to us, I completely forgot about the nuclear threat kind of element to it. There's some thematic ties there to Godzilla, very on brand.
Sure, yeah.
There we go. I didn't mention him, but there's a character called Catfish. He's the other guy with impressive facial hair. He just shows up in shorts and a singlet while one of the most full-on scenes of Michael Biehn's character's happening.
Yes.
I think he just whacks him, or he's he saves the day a few times. I love that guy's whole vibe. And yeah, I just thought that the pressurized nature of everything, of everyone losing their cool and acting under stress and just struggling to survive, was really impressive. All the practical effects, or everything that James Cameron did behind the scenes, just like you were saying, Alex, this is something you watch in the moment and come away from, and it sticks with you as kind of just this impressive piece of art, really, that I'm not quite sure how it came together, but it did. All the underwater stuff, again, just super impressive. Even if I thought that the main crew of characters wasn't that compelling, and I didn't buy all the love story side of things, but it equaled it all out with a guy having a rat. So I'm going to give it 3.5 rats in bags, which I don't know. I'm not sure how that happened. 3.5, maybe 3.5 server rooms,
Just to keep the rats intact.
just to keep the rats whole. But thanks, guys. That was great watching The Abyss.
Super fun pick, Alex. Thank you for nominating this.
Kicking off our Beneath the Waves theme.
Thank you.
For the next couple Beneath the Wave episodes, me and Micah are picking one each. We're going to be recording them back to back so that we have a bit of a break over Christmas. Micah, what is the next movie on Podzilla going to be that you are picking with a water theme?
I haven't seen it. Have either of you guys seen it? You might not have, but my pick for the next movie is 2006 Bong Joon-ho's The Host.
Oh, that's perfect.
I'll read out the little synopsis here. Man has made his newest predator. A teenage girl is captured by a giant mutated squid-like creature that appears from Seoul's Han River after toxic waste was dumped in it, prompting her family into a frantic search for her.
Oh, I love it.
Jay gave it a 5 out of 5, so I'm hoping for good things.
This is a good movie. This is what a theme this is gonna be. I am picking one that I didn't actually love last time I watched it, but I thought it was worth a revisit. It's pretty interesting. Has similar themes to The Abyss. Came out in 2020, and it's called Underwater, starring Kristen Stewart and our favorite TJ Miller. But
boy.
It's not our favorite, far from it. But another underwater, of course, called Underwater, but based movie of this tight-knit crew trying to survive in crazy circumstances. The synopsis is, after an earthquake destroys their underwater station, 6 researchers must navigate 2 miles along the dangerous, unknown depths of the ocean floor to make it to safety in a race against time. So those are going to be our next 2 episodes, The Host and Underwater.
I've got the first Letterboxd review for Underwater here, and I'm going to quickly read it out. First thing TJ Miller, vomit face, says to Kristen Stewart, heart eyes, after she rescues him is, "You sweet flat-chested elven creature. tapped out at that point to play chess.com on my phone for the remaining 80 minutes.
Yeah, okay. If you can get past TJ Miller's lines, we're going to have to work together hand in hand, listeners, P fans,
Mike,
all across the world. We need to hold hands and get through TJ Miller's lines to get to the meat of this movie.
might keep chess.com on in the background.
Keep chess.com handy if you can't make it through. But thank you guys so much for kicking this off for us. It was so great to just have the gang back together again.
Well, thank you for having us.
As always, listen to the final draft. There's a huge backlog, listeners, of amazing episodes that these two have done.
Hell yeah.
They went weekly for a few years, and there's so many great ones like Stalker that they mentioned in the episode, some throwbacks with us that we jumped on for that I can hardly remember what we talked about now. It's pretty dated.
What did I do? I did Blair Witch with you guys.
Oh, yeah, we
as
did
well
Nightmare
as
on Elm Street.
Yeah. Spider-Man No Way Home.
Spider-Man No Way Home.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
Fun times. I will also shout out, we're recording this on Riverside. Adam's username is Adam-Final Draft. This gives me hope.
Oh.
Adam?
I just typed it in. But if the fan wants it, fans want it.
Well, you know what? Five Nights at Freddy's 2 has just come out. And if there was ever a more...
Who are we to deprive the world of our views on Five Nights at Freddy's? It'd just be unfair, wouldn't it?
Five Nights at Freddy's is a theme park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Five Nights at Freddy's 2, Avatar, Fire and Ash.
That's a great double feature.
Could be coming from the final draft. Stay tuned. But then listen to Helix as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. Listen to Helix, Adam's roller coaster show. Follow them on TikTok. Check out their vlogs that they're posting on YouTube. Really, really awesome.
Is there anything else that you two would like to shout out at the moment?
Nothing from me. Like you guys very generously said, you can check out the final draft backlog.
Heck yeah.
Some episodes, I think I've lost the time now, unfortunately.
No!
Due to copyright issues. Yeah, unfortunately. They might be on my laptop somewhere, but I'd have to dig around. Definitely check out Helix.
Thank you.
Adam's been smashing it with the Helix show. Anything else to plug? Not really. I don't know. Go see Wicked for Good.
Yeah, there we go.
Let me know what you think. We can talk about it in the Podzilla Discord. We could do that.
No.
Yeah.
What are your boys' letterboxds?
Oh,
yes.
We'll chuck those in the show notes too.
Honestly, I had to brush the dust off of that bad boy as well. I had to reinstall him. So
Adam does not use Letterboxd, Mike.
Really?
How dare you bring it up? Just like his Twitch channel of old. He just leaves these apps to
die.
To time.
To die and rot. Yeah. It's time for everything.
Alex, you were watching like a whole lot of horror movies for October that was pretty fun to follow you on.
Yeah. I'm pretty active on Letterboxd. So say I'm just trying to find my username now. It's Anox, AKNOX. You can follow me on Letterboxd. You can keep up with what I'm watching. Yeah.
There you go. Awesome.
You got a whole backlog on there as well. I was never good at it, but Alex was on that. It was his thing. And they're all very funny.
I see a lot of myself in you, Adam.
I see a lot of myself in you, Alex.
We'll regularly go weeks of me watching movies, and then Jake will have to prod me and say, Micah,
write it down.
we're not going to watch this new movie until you
Micah, come
log
on.
these 10 movies.
Come on. You're supposed to be a professional.
Oh, the last one I did was Mickey 17.
That's more recent than I thought it would be for you, Adam. That's actually...
Yeah.
That was this year.
I don't know why. I don't know what prompted me to do that. That was April. Goodness me. And before that, it was The Silence. By Martin Scorsese, which is a great film.
Whoa. Okay, that was a while
Fantastic
back.
film. Yeah. You guys seen that?
Yeah, love Silence.
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield.
Oh, I have
Adam
seen it.
Driver.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
Good movie.
Yeah.
Good
Brilliant.
movie.
Love it.
Stick around. If you are a patron, we're going to be briefly going through James Cameron's movies and tier listing them. So you're going to want to hear that. Stick around. You can sign up, patreon.com/Podzilla. And if you are a member of our Odo Island patrons, you can also nominate your movies you want us to cover for the final film in the Beneath the Waves theme. So send through your suggestions and we'll figure out what we're watching at the end of the theme there. But again, thank you so much, Adam and Alex. Check them out, guys. And we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Guys, these boys do absolute wonders for the New Zealand film scene and beyond.
Cut it.
They have put the most effort into their show out of anyone that I know personally.
Cut it. No.
And they are wonderful. They are wonderful. Oh. So support them.
James Cameron next on Podzilla. We can surely, if he lives here and we're also here in New Zealand, we can make something.
I feel like in the next 5 years we can brush shoulders with James Cameron.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
That's our challenge.
Get your money out. What are you listening to this for free for? Get your money out. Give it to these lovely people. They're great.
For us to pay James Cameron to interview us.
Yeah. I'm just kind of like sat there like, who cares that much about the Avatar? Because I feel like only one person cares that much about Avatar, and that's James Cameron.
And Jason.
It's me as well.
At one point, everyone decided that we just had to be this obsessed over it.
It's Jason Drake and James Cameron.
Give me the Abyss franchise, the Abyss, the Way of Water.
The Abyss, the ride.